All right, so in the year we are in 2026, the year of the devil, the decade of the devil, and we are all not doing very good. The companies are screwing us left, right, and center. So what I did, what I was thinking about was a list of ways we can boycott these companies. And I wrote some of these down, and I'm just gonna read some of these things to you, and maybe you can try some of these and see if it works out for you. So yeah. Thing number one: wasting companies' time. I saw some video on Instagram of some guy telling a bunch of people to just waste companies' time, and I figure I just repeat it to you here. Just do things like buying stuff and returning it. Say you buy something off Amazon, if you could just if you just buy a bunch of stuff and return it all, that helps. Just screw with them. If there's like one of those little storage lockers Amazon has around, you could just have all that stuff transport there, keep it there for like a couple of days, and just leave it there, and then they just have to return it after 3 days, which is good for us because we put a little hurt in Amazon and Bezos' pocket, and we keep the people working there employed, so they can pay their rent and take care of their families. It doesn't just apply to Amazon, but other places like Walmart and Target. So just think about that. You could also steal from these places, but that depends on how much you're willing to risk going to jail. So you can just think about that. Number two, carpooling. So if you live in or near a big city, you probably know that public transportation has become a total fuck show. It's become incredibly expensive. MTA now costs about $3, which is a lot if you're using it every day. So what I thought of, if you know someone with like a car in your little group, you can just have that person carpool you around. Just ask them if they would help you out, and if they do, great. Pay them a little bit of money for gas money just to help them out with the inconvenience, because gas, of course, is expensive. But think about me, it's like a little over $3 now, thanks to the dumbass war in Iran. So yeah. Speaking of it, the MTA, you can also do what a lot of New Yorkers do, which is just hop the turnstiles and just not pay for the buses. It does help a little bit. From what I've noticed, it doesn't seem to stop the MTA from raising prices or making the turnstiles harder to jump. So I don't fully recommend that plan. I think it's better to just avoid it, using public transportation altogether. But if you have to use it, then just try and avoid paying for it. Also, if you ever see those emergency exits, what you could do is you could prop those things open to let people go through. So yeah, just try doing that and see if that does anything. Third thing, physical media and piracy. As we know, the streaming services have been basically screwing us out for money, raising prices on media that we do not own, despite the fact that we pay an excess amount of money to see. They take off movies whenever they feel like, and we are worse off for it. So what I would suggest is buying physical media or pirating. Me personally, I prefer physical media just because I own it. Yeah, just because I own it It's mine. Nobody can touch it or do anything with it, and it's great. You don't even have to buy this stuff firsthand. You can buy some of the stuff secondhand. Like, hold on, I'll show you. I got all these CDs here from a secondhand store that's not too far from me. They all work pretty well. I think if you can find a reputable seller for these products, then you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about buying something that doesn't work. I noticed that once in the previous video that I don't like to buy used products, but in this case the CDs I just showed you are like out of print, so yeah, it's pretty hard to find anyway. Of course, like I said, it's all up to you on whether you want to buy these CDs or not, but Alex just doing so. CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, vinyl, whatever. It also helps the artists who make these things too, so they can make more of these things, and so that they can have more control over what they want to make, and not have to sell it to a company so they can afford to pay their rent. So yeah, that's something to think about. Number 4 is getting off or making a new social media. I think we all know by now that social media is not healthy for us, and that companies are pushing propaganda on their websites. I think we can all recognize now that with AI as well, that we can't really trust any of the things that we see. Despite that, we still also need to be informed of what's going on, considering that the news media is also being heavily censored. So the first thing I thought was to get off the social media websites, which would be good for all of us, of course, to not be involved with the shit that goes on there. On the other hand, we also still need to be informed, so what I thought of was to make a new social media app that we can all just be informed of, that's separate from all these other crappy websites. Now, I personally can't make a social media app. I have no idea how to do that. Certainly not for a non-profit kind of thing. I have no idea how to even begin to code or anything. So if any of you knows how to do that, I would suggest making an app so that people can use that kind of thing. I think people generally overestimate how much they need to be on social media. You know, I don't use Instagram nearly as much, but of course I need to have it off my phone. You know, I try to keep it on my computer just so I'm not always scrolling and wasting my time. Of course, there are times when I re-download it and get sucked into it, so I just have to be a little more active and not getting down into it. Of course, there's YouTube, which you're watching right now. I don't think I could live without YouTube. I've been on YouTube since I was like 4, so that's like what, almost 18 years. 18 years on the internet, goddamn. And most people use YouTube as their prime source of income anyway, so it'd be pretty difficult to get off YouTube. But if there was like a YouTube adjacent website that had all the same functions and benefits as YouTube without all the censorship, I think most people would be inclined to move over there. So yeah, I don't know how well that's gonna work, so I guess somebody else is gonna have to figure it out. 5th and finally, boycott AI. I don't think everyone needs to get into this. Fuck AI, don't use that shit. Only retards use AI, and I'm pretty sure all you watching aren't retards. I hope. Also boycott any companies that use AI in their advertisement or to make their products. And just, yeah, don't use anything that has anything to do with AI. That's pretty much all I have to say. If anybody has any their own ideas on how to boycott things, then you can let people know. So, yeah. See ya.